One of the people that you would never want to go to battle with is certain people that you kind of see as your hero when you were little. And as I grow up, I've seen certain people that are my heroes. I want to address SEUN KUTI. Let me just put it straight up. SEUN KUTI went to a podcast, Bad and Baji, on Glitch Africa Studio, and he talked about sexuality and he was being interviewed. And he made some comments there that I did not find not just palatable, but I think that he's not directly honest. And this is not for me to throw punch at my hero, one of my heroes. But SEUN KUTI went and he was talking about marriages. And he talked about his certain things regarding his marriage when they were asking him questions. Part of the things he touched on was, in Africa, there's nothing like monogamy. In Africa, there's nothing like polygamy. In Africa, there's nothing like gay. In Africa, there's nothing like this in the past. The question now came to my mind. So that means we Nigerians or Africans have been acting like zombie in the past, that we could not even label whatever we are doing as this is what it is. They asked him, they say, are you monogamous in your relationship? He said no. He could not give a direct answer, and he said the lady is his wife, which I respect her as a person, gives him maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll call it consent, and it sounds like polyamory relationship, but, or, sorry, is it polyamory? Yes, polygamous, something like polyamory or polygamous, that he as a man may be able to bring other women. But he did not want to really put more information on it. And I begin to ask, if you begin to tell us that the Europeans or the Western people are labeling this monogamy, this polygamy, this polyamorous, this gay, this lesbian, women and all of that, I wanted to ask you, if you go to an hospital and you say you are not feeling fine, maybe you have cancer, for example, and you just went there and you say you are not feeling fine, how would they treat you when they cannot diagnose you to know exactly the sickness that is wrong with you? The sickness that is wrong with you is cancer. So the treatment for cancer, for example, say cancer get treatment. The treatment for cancer is what they begin to give you. If you say you have headache, they have to label it headache. So are you saying that Africans, if a man has multiple wives, we do not give it label in the past? Historically, we just look at it that it's a relationship. This is how Africans are supposed to be moving, and we are not attentive to exactly what we are doing as a people. And he made certain comments which were kind of ironic to me, in a sense, when he said that culture and traditions, the women bow to the culture and the traditions, and so that is how they take care of their relationship then. Culture and tradition, in a sense that you respect these things, not actually that you honor and you bow to the man. You see, sometimes those words go in an aspect that it looks like we Africans, we have gotten it correctly before, and then the European came to mess everything up. I think that if we were perfect, or if we were good in the way we handled things before, it would be difficult for the Europeans to be able to come in and invade us, invade our culture, invade our traditions, invade us with certain dirty religions, which on many aspects I agree with SEUN KUTI. But on this aspect, no, I don't. So the Egyptians, for example, have been doing some things like polygamy, gay, and the rest of it. And they want to say, okay, the white people and blah, blah, blah. And all those things doesn't really make add up. But what I want to make clear is this. In the relationship between a man and a woman, as an African, we have certain stories that are with it. For example, let me say it this way, and you can Google it, make your research on it. In the African culture before, it is not necessary that it is the man you get married to or that you bear children with, that is the man you have to stay with for the rest of your life. Google it about the relationship between men and women historically in African culture, Yoruba specifically. The man that you have children with sometimes is not the man you will stay with. There might be breakup. Maybe you have 2 children for one man, and then you go to, the man divorce you, or majority of the time, the man dies. If you marry another man, those children will call that man daddy. They would not look at it as this is another person. They have to give the same honor they give to their father to that man that their mother is staying under. This is African culture. The same thing applicable, but most men, when we talk about polyamory, that or polyamory, I don't know how to use all this kind of language because those languages have scatter my head as it scatter SEUN KUTI head. But in a sense that a woman having multiple husbands was not something that was being pushed in African culture. Now, there might be nuances along the line. There might be certain people who do certain things that, everybody cannot fit into a box. But that does not change the fact that the culture does not accept it. Yes, we may see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that does it. But that doesn't mean the culture accepts it. We used to live in a polygamous home. And you said something earlier when he was talking. He said Fela Anikulapo is not as polygamous. He was a polygamous and he has many girlfriends and all of that. And he said something. He said part of those things, slowly women will drain life away from you. But how can you equate it now that you say, which you did not really agree, but you make it look like the relationship with your spouse, seems like a monogamous relationship. But at the same time, you can be free to do whatever you want to do with another woman, and your woman is free to do whatever she wants to do. And you are making certain comments. He was making certain comments on the issue of, okay, a woman would do whatever she wants to do, so I cannot be jealous if other men are toasting her. That I can agree with him on. But one thing that I don't agree is when he says that everybody is allowed to do what they please in a relationship. What works for you works for you. Africans are not like that. That what works for you works for you. No. It is the purpose of culture. Culture simply means that there's a way people see and view themselves in a particular way. I don't want to sound a little bit, I don't want to sound religious here, but I want to make it clear that culture is a sense at which people live in, and people bow and walk towards that side of the culture. It doesn't mean that there are people who would not be breaking the law. Because if we agree that a man and a woman, when they come together and they become one, if possible they become one, or they are married, let's just use marriage as an example, they are in a relationship and they have children. If everyone can do what they please in marriage, please, what is the purpose of the marriage? If there is no commitment to the marriage, that everyone has the idea tomorrow you want to wake up and you feel like you want to go and sleep with one man because you find one person handsome, or you as a man you find another woman beautiful, you can just go and do it, then what is the purpose of marriage? Marriage should be a sense where you commit to. Now, there is a danger why women are not allowed to sleep around with men. It's not because women cannot do it. It's not because women do not have the desire to do it or the urges. But it is simply because for everyone to know their child as a man, nobody wants to invest in something that does not belong to him as an individual. That is the reason why she's not allowed to sleep with other men. It may not make sense, you may not agree with it. And I'm not saying, they happen, say women, they cheat. No. But there are times in our culture, in various cultures, where if you born pikin, they go carry that pikin, go put them for water. When they put the pikin for water, if water carry the pikin go, that means say, the papa, no be the papa get them. But if water bring the pikin back, that means say, the man where she say she get them for, now you get them for. DNA test don't day before European or the Western culture bring DNA come. We were already doing it in our culture. People may call it fetish and ritual, blah, blah, blah. If to say Mohbad, for example, Mohbad, his father is into all those things. Be saying they carry all those big Bible, they sing song and all of that. If to say now in culture, before Mohbad married that girl, by now, no be waiting with the talk now. We go don't know the pig. If to say at that time, water go don't carry the pikin go or make the water don't return the pikin. Everybody go don't know whether na Mohbad pikin or be Mohbad pikin. So even if we are trying to say that the Western people has erupt and disrupt the culture of an African, it doesn't mean that what they bring, everything they brought in is wrong. No, there are things they brought in that is right. It is the polluted ones that we are against, like the religion. Yes, I agree on you with 100%. On our political space, I agree with you. Leaving it back, if a woman allows her husband to sleep with multiple women, if it turns her on, it is acceptable because she knows that this man belongs to her and they've done marriage. The marriage has sealed the fact that she belongs to the family of that man. If anything happens to SEUN KUTI, his wife will still be protected and she will still have certain grace, certain money, certain inheritance from him through even with the joint of his family to support her. But that lady will just come where they say they do polyamory, I be what they do. That lady can never say she has it. This would have been reversed in another case if a woman is the one who takes the man and go and marry the man. Wait, when we say that, we talk in Africa now, we say, yes, you cannot control a woman. I agree, you don't necessarily have to control, but people control people, whether we like it or not. In Africa, Western country, everybody control people. We may control you psychologically, and they may call it an offense or whatever, but we control people. And I'm not saying it is right to control, but like it's rightfully said, there are certain amount of control you can have. If you are married, for example, your wife say you won't go party or you won't go club, maybe that spirit come on her and she knows she can do whatever she pleases, and she says she wants to go club. As a man, I no go tell her and say you can't go to club. It is impossible. If you go to club, that's the end of the marriage. Why wouldn't I be able to say that? That is also a control. You keep a rule, you keep rules between your relationship so that the bond will be there. The moment anyone is pleased to do what they like, then there is no relationship. Then there is no bond between you people. It is not about you understand me and I understand you. Yes, understanding plays a big role in relationship. Accepting you, not tolerating you, plays a big role in relationship. But it doesn't mean that you now have privilege to do as you like. And you say, oh, maybe I no go do, but you somehow have to respect my nature. My nature, sometimes I wake up in the morning, I feel like killing somebody or someone offend me and I feel like, carrying a bottle and hitting it on your head. Will I do that because I feel like it? I can't. You don't move in relationship based off what you feel. You move into relationship based off the integrity, the dignity that you bestow upon that relationship. We want to build a perception for the world and for ourselves. Because if there is no perception that we are building or messaging to the world or to ourselves, then we are putting the next generation to do as they please. And if they do as they please, everybody do as they feel. Everyone regrets. Even the words you say, if you say words the way you feel, you regret it. Talk else of you acting the way you feel. Because you can wake up in the morning, you don't like that woman that is close to you. And you feel like, oh, I don't want her in my life anymore. And you say she should go. But because you are trying to protect certain things that you feel like, oh, the world is not supposed to know because I don't owe the world this explanation, doesn't mean that you have to say that the way the white people are labeling monogamy and all of that is a problem. Yes, we know that they contributed to the aspect of gender war because when men were working, they would go at the back and start convincing women. And they convinced women because of religious things. And because our women were submissive to men. Submission of a woman to a man is not because the man is in control of her or is the one controlling her. It's because men cherish respect and women used to adore an African man. And so they adore their men. And because they adore their men, the Western people went at the back to make our women rebellious against us. And that is why we have gender war. So a woman thinks, oh, she's equal. Whatever a man can do, she can do. Yes, you may say we are equal, and what you can do, a man can do, or what a man can do, you can do. But you have to look at the biological differences. You may take you 3 days to do your menstruation and what do you call it? Maybe 4 days, almost a week in a month to be sexually active. In a week, that means you can't be active. A man can continue having sex every single day. Now, you put it this way also, that a woman becomes pregnant and the man says, because you are sleeping with people, I used to allow you to sleep with people. How will I claim if my wife is pregnant and I used to allow her to sleep with other men? How can I claim that child to be my child? How can she get the financial and protection and the support that I need to give to her for her life? You will say, maybe this boils down to all financial issues. It doesn't boil down to financial issues. Yes, financial part plays a role in it. And there's a purpose of money. Let's say the government is taking care of her, right? But does she need my presence? Or would she be alone? Should she and her family bear the cross? Because you cannot expect that a man who is sleeping, a man who allows other men to be sleeping with his wife and his wife get pregnant, and he should start carrying that woman for 9 months. After 9 months, he go take 6 months again before the pikin, when they born the pikin again. That's over 1 year of his life, carrying it for another man who go sleep with his wife. So if you dishonor a marriage, that is your cup of tea. You cannot tell an African man, yes, I agree to the fact that the European system has affected our men today. But if we would speak about this on a larger scale, we get a lot of things to talk about. It is easier for a king to have queen and concubines. It is difficult for a queen to have multiple men. I am not saying it's impossible, but if you say that our women used to be queens and they have other things that they used to do, then maybe it tells us the reason why our kingdom or our African this thing was broken in the first place. Women have a role they play. Children have a role they play. Youth have a role they play. Men have a role they play, and men has abandoned some of their roles as men in the society. Yes, and we can discuss on many things that attributes to those factors of men, leaving all those things. But we have to look at it, that the relationship, the misunderstanding in the relationship, the dishonor, the disrespect has become so much. When we talk of Africans, I know the Igbos are part of Africans, but the way Igbo women may communicate with their men is a little bit different. They have their own culture. And Net Nwoko that is having multiple women and is telling them that, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, and they have to all be submissive to him. Why wouldn't they? Now, do you think that they can't live their life? But they want certain women respect a man that other men respect, and they gravitate towards a man that, that has certain honor and dignity around him. So if a woman that you have is not respecting you, something is wrong. And no man wants to stay with a woman who does not cherish, honor him, or respect him. Do most men deserve the respect? No. Most men don't deserve it. But we cannot use because of that one to destroy our African culture. Or you can't preach that the Europeans are just the problem and you're not telling us that. You're now making it seem as if you have gotten it right, in a sense that monogamy and all those kind of polygamy is labeled. No, they are not just labeled. They are diagnoses. And the diagnosis is what helps us to be able to have certain sense of what we are actually doing. Is it happening in Egypt? Yes, these things have been happening. They are gays. They've been gays. They've been lesbianism. They are all those kind of things. But if you want to build a family, because the marriage is based on family, and family comprises of father, mother, children, extended family from the man and from the woman. We have all these things that are important. There is a time, there is something SEUN Kuti will say again. I will say, there was a time that a child is a child. No, it's not. A child is not just a child. There's male and female. Even in the African culture, there have been male and female in the African culture. And you would not understand it except you have a kingship lineage in your home. If a man is a king and he has queen and is having daughters, he seeks to have a son. And that is why some of them marries multiple women, so they can have son. Some of them married it because of pleasure. Some of them marry because they have the financial capacity to take care of the women. Some of them marry because it's their urge. Some of them marry because it's their culture. So sons are important in marriage because it helps to protect the family. You see, today, even in today's world, it still plays a role. Now, we have to acknowledge the fact that men or boys have a role to play and women have a role to play. And we don't have to diminish the other gender simply because of this. But we have to also understand that this particular one is also important in the race that we are running as humans. If we have 500 women and we have 10 men, the situation is still going fine. If we have 500 men and 10 women, you do the math and see what happens now. But so, Oga SEUN KUTI, me, I respect you so much, and I know you can educate me on this. But there's a difference between truth and there's a difference between facts. Maybe you are telling the truth and I'm saying the facts. But on this, I don't agree with you, sir. I still respect you. I still cut cap for you. But on this one, Wole Similara.